So you have a small house and you have small rooms, or you're about to flip a property and it's wicked small and you can't add square footage. There are some ways that you can add a lot more profit to these small properties if you just follow these 5 DIY projects. They're super easy, cost efficient, and the best part, they give you a lot of money in the end. Who picks this for a paint color? One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they have a small property is the paint color that they choose for the walls. Anytime you have a dark or even earthy dark tone on a wall, it makes the room look very small. I'm going to give you an example right here. In the thumbnail, I showed you a green bedroom, and this was a very small room. And if you could just change that color to a nice bright light gray, it made the room look 10 times bigger. The program that I'm using is something by Sherwin-Williams, which I always used to say Sherman-Williams, but it's Sherwin-Williams. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description, and it will tell you exactly what color so you can use on your walls. You can pick as many as you want, and you can just use this little tool. I loved playing with this thing, and you can use it in as many rooms as you want, just to see what a paint color would look like. I really had a good time with this because I could do this in any room. When you go into any house right now, everybody's looking for those light, bright, white colors, especially when you have a small property. Nothing closes in a room like a dark color. And as modern as some of these grays are, some of them can get a little too dark. So always weigh on the side of caution, do lots of testing, and use that website to check with different colors. I do want to give you a word of warning. As many times as we always say neutral color palette, I know that it has been popular with beige neutrals, and that is something that home buyers do not want anymore. And another word of warning, never paint your ceiling color the same color as the walls. That's pretty popular here in Louisiana. Sometimes they'll even cut the color in half, but you're much better off on a small property to paint them bright white because it gives it a much more taller ceiling. So do not paint the color of your ceilings the same color as your walls because it makes it look closed in and cut off. And you don't want that feeling for any buyer that's coming through your house. You want them to make it feel big. So investment on a can of paint is about $45. If you went ahead and painted the whole entire house, you're gonna be looking at a profit about $3,000 to $5,000. So that's definitely worth a little bit of sweat equity, and it's something you can do over the weekend, especially if you have a teeny tiny house. Even though this house is in our price range, Ben, I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to do it. It's so small. Okay, now that you have that fresh coat of paint, I'm gonna share with you my best secrets for making a tiny room look much bigger. So before you start shoving your furniture back in there, start decluttering all that stuff. If you have your house on the market and it's just say the master bedroom, you want to make that room look as big as possible. You're going to want to put your master bed back in there and your 2 end tables, and then possibly 2 small lights, not really tall lights. You want them to be a little bit shorter and smaller scale. And if you can live without your dresser and your hutch that's in there, that's typically in a master bedroom, it will make that room look a lot bigger. They won't even notice that you have the dresser and the tall boy gone, and it will make your house sell a lot faster. Also with that, when you start to hang your curtains back up, only use sheer curtains that let the light come through. And you want to use the curtains that go from all the way to the top all the way to the bottom, so that way it gives your room a lot of height. This will make people feel a lot more comfortable in a room that is typically pretty small. One more thing, the bedding that you choose to put on your bed should be light. If you can't really afford a whole new comforter set, get a duvet cover. They're very inexpensive. Amazon has tons of them. And this is when you want to add your pop of color. And you're going to want to add accents of like whatever color is your feature color throughout the house. Whether it be red or blue, just add that pop of color so that way it has a cohesiveness in the room and it doesn't look stark white like a hospital room. I know a lot of people like that look, but let's just add a little bit of character. Another wonderful trick that I love to tell people when they have a super teeny tiny room is to put mirrors on the opposite side of the windows. And the reason you want to do that is to let the light bounce off those mirrors. Not only does it give it the illusion of being bigger, it also adds a lot more light to a small room. All these tips I'm giving you is called staging. And the better you stage your house that's small will give you a better return on investment. as little as 6% and as much as 10% to your overall cost of your home. So definitely take these tips if you have a small house and use every single one of them for every small room in your house, so that way you can get the most profit back.
Every room in this house has the weirdest lighting. Everybody looks jaundiced. The realtor looks jaundiced. You look jaundiced. We look jaundiced.
When you're dealing with tiny rooms, the one thing you want to do more than anything, and I know I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 more, is that you need a lot of light. Sometimes these rooms have tiny windows, and no matter how many mirrors you put on the wall, it's not going to bring enough light in. So you're going to need as many lights as possible without adding a lot of things on the floor or a lot of wires showing throughout the house. So the best way to handle this is to put them in the ceiling. And the best way to do that is something called a puck light. A puck light is an LED light. It's about this big, and it adds a lot of light. And it will look really great in a small home, in a small space. They're about $20 to $25, and you can add a bunch of those throughout the house. Do it everywhere. Anywhere there is a dark spot, add a light. The more light, the brighter it looks, the bigger it feels, the more you're gonna get in the long run, because it'll be on the market for a lot less. The other thing about puck lights, them being LED lights, they're considered energy efficient. And that always looks really good on an MLS listing, that you have energy efficient lighting throughout the house. So if you wanna do that, make sure you put that in that listing, because buyers love that. So you go ahead and put as many puck lights as you can throughout the house. It costs you, let's say, a minimum of $500. Your return on investment is going to be as little as $1,000, but as much as $3,000 to $5,000. So that is a wise investment you can do yourself. It's going to take a little sweat equity and a little bit of time, but if you have a little bit of electrical sense, you can do this. Make sure you follow all the safety standards, so that way you don't get electrocuted. Just go ahead and just turn off the box. Just turn off the whole thing, and then you don't have to worry about it. Oh, dark cabinets in a small house. Who does this? Bad choice. If you have a really tiny kitchen, one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of small kitchens have is that they have dark cabinetry. Instead of trying to remove all your cabinetry and do a whole big update, which would cost you like $30,000, you can always paint them. There's definitely a lot of different ways to do this, but the one way I definitely don't want you to do it is to either use a roller or a paintbrush. It looks cheap. Buyers know you did it that way. All you have to do is go to Home Depot. They'll allow you to rent a sprayer, take off all the cabinet doors, and start spraying. It's a ton of prep work, but it will save you a lot of money. At least there's one redeeming quality in this house. The throw carpets look halfway decent. If you happen to have a small house and you have wood flooring, then you're really in luck, because it does make a house look bigger, but it also can make a house feel very cold, and it doesn't separate a room very well. Throw carpets are the best way to add a lot more depth and texture to your room without taking out the space that it has created. A nice carpet underneath a bed will give it nice warmness and hominess, which you want for your home buyers. And strategically placed in areas around the house, it will give the house a lot more definition. So don't be afraid to throw down a throw rug, just don't let it overtake the space.
Ben, does this bathroom make you feel claustrophobic? Because I totally feel claustrophobic in here.
So when you're dealing with a small bathroom, this is one of those places where I'm going to tell you not to add a throw rug. It will add more space to not have a throw rug there. And while people are taking showers, go ahead and put it down, but when you have home buyers coming in, take them out. So if you're dealing with a tiny bathroom, I want you to stage it very minimal. Don't put a lot of stuff on the countertops, make sure you remove them. The best thing I can tell you also for a tiny bathroom is if you have a shower tub combination, the best tip is to go ahead and buy a shower curtain that goes from the ceiling all the way to the floor. It will make that room feel so much bigger to home buyers. Make sure it's in a light, white, bright color, so that way it adds as much lightness in the room. If you don't have enough lights in there, again, go ahead and throw a couple of those puck lights in the ceiling, and then you have a bathroom that's small that doesn't feel so small after all. Hey, that rhymed. Look, just because it was an inexpensive DIY project doesn't mean it has to look cheap. You can do them yourself and make a lot more profit in the long run. Just make sure you do them right. If you want some more ideas for other DIY projects, go ahead and click this video right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because you matter.